back to the SnowDays Nerdcast. Technically this is like episode 6, but we're going to call this episode 4 since hopefully everything worked out this time and it will be recording as well so we can add things to YouTube. We just got straight off work and came right in to do this so we can get this done today. And hopefully we can go live again this weekend. But thanks everybody for joining us. Let's jump right into this. Big news this week, in particular, with Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It got leaked, and it's not like videos of it got leaked. The whole game is online. It's leaked. People have it. I know some people who have played it. It's the entire game in its entirety. Yes, you need to use an emulator and play it on PC, but it's pretty interesting to me, especially like last session we talked about how it's kind of bullshit how games have gone up to $70 and in my opinion, I think this is retaliation from somebody for that. I think people are tired of paying this extra money for the games and not getting a complete game. What do you guys think? And especially seeing how there hasn't been too much information. Like if you look this up online, you might find one or two articles that are talking about it, but they're not giving too much information. And then no one else is really talking about it at all. It's very strange.
It is very odd. And let me just spitball some conspiracy theories out here. You got a guy in the Democratic Party who said, Joe Biden said Nintendo has never leaked a game. Happens that Trump was on CNN. Zelda gets leaked. I don't know. Big Pharma. Big Pharma.
Is that where we're going with this? We're going to go straight into politics?
I personally think there was a alien sighting. And the alien sighting happened as soon as Nintendo was uploading something to move it somewhere for the game. Yeah. And what happened is the trajectory of the beam sent from the computer or whatever device it may have been that was uploading files for the game was beaming up, and the UFO came like this. And since the UFOs are made out of some kind of crazy alien metal, it beamed it that way to some guy's house, and he's like, "Bro, what is this? My emulator's picking up a new game?"
Yeah, and emulators pick up games based on your internet. Where's the internet? Underwater. Who else is underwater? Megalodon. Alien Megalodon. Confirmed. You heard it here first. Alien Megalodon.
Megalodon.
Tears of the Kingdom. Because guess what? There's another kingdom. Atlantis. Where's Atlantis? Under a bunch of tears. Because tears make up the ocean. Correct.
Did you guys have this prepared? I don't...
No.
This is all
Call me Bruce. Where's my adopted kid in tights? I'm Bruce Wayne. No, I think it was just one of those freak things. I don't think anybody was mad about... Well, I mean, fans are mad about the $70 price tag, but I don't think somebody was, that upset that they leak a game like that, only because the repercussions that come with something like that is wild.
Well, here's the thing.
It also could have been an angry dev,
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the things is supposedly there are a couple of different ideas of what could have happened. I guess the main one is that somebody's retaliated and hacked them because of the $70 price tag. But the other one is that it's possible that a tester who had taken the game home got fired and kind of just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to put it online then."
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot of things. I don't know. But, I mean, I get the games. It's basically Breath of the Wild, but, bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole $70 thing for a game like that's
Well, from what I've seen of it looks like Skyward Sword meets Breath of the Wild, which Skyward Sword is one of my favorites. It's probably top 3 for me.
You can't really justify the $70 price tag because it's going to be a bigger game because there's games like Fallout, Skyrim's a big one, that were $60 in its day, and they're massive. There's things to this day people in Skyrim have not seen.
Well, here's the thing.
Found.
When Zelda decided to do their $70 price tag, everybody else did. They're like, "Oh, fuck it. I guess we're all going to jump in on this money bandwagon here. And that's why it really sucks. Like, I can understand one game being $70. I can. But every fucking game is now going to be $70. Like, it's still hard to find a PS4. It's a little bit easier than it was a couple of years ago. So, and then you got to spend, what, $600 on a PS4 and same for Xbox. So how much money are we going to be putting into these things? And then to top it off, DLC is going to come out. That's going to be $20 too, depending on how many we have. I know with Breath of the Wild, I was pretty disappointed with most of the DLC because it wasn't really any gaming or gameplay DLC. It was mostly just like add-ons of a couple little missions here or there, and that's really it. And like you got one cool motorcycle as your mount instead of a horse. That was like the big one.
I've said it before with the whole like $70 thing. Like when it comes to like bigger games like Call of Duty, like I get like they went from their old engine to a new engine, but that's been happening for a long time. And they're going from old software to new software. Well, they're trying to, but the whole shortage of PS5s and all that and Xboxes. That was kind of like their justification of the price point of games going up $10. It's like, look, we're using a new engines and new software that takes more money for production and all of this crap. It's like, I get it, but like when you're a game that's not really using an updated engine, because it literally just looks like Breath of the Wild.
Well, see,
like the same engine, but like you got games out there like Call of Duty that's made by a multi-billion-dollar company who knows if they sold the game for $20, they would still get all of their money back plus some because everyone's going to buy the newest skin pack or operator pack that they got.
That's what I was going to say. Call of Duty might be the worst of them because they make all their money with in-game purchases.
Yeah.
So why are they still charging? Why did they decide to rate? So that logic goes out the window because they made over $1 billion last time just on in-game purchases.
I mean, I think their biggest thing was like Modern Warfare 2 was using
about $1 billion.
It's using a different type of engine than they. Well, I think it's the same engine they used in Modern Warfare 2019, but just updated. I guess. I don't know.
The $70 price tax is the more you spend, the more they can tax you. The more money they make, the more food they can buy to feed the megalodon, who is attracting the aliens. So in the long run, we're just going to get more leaks.
This is kind of hard for me to want to buy. I mean, I'm going to buy it because I like Call of Duty. But like now I'm seeing news about the one that's coming out in 2023. It was just supposed to be that Modern Warfare 2 was going to be a 2-cycle game instead of a yearly cycle like they've been doing for the past however many years.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really like the news I saw. It's just going to be Modern Warfare 3, and then I honestly I just feel like it's going to be a cookie cutter of what Modern Warfare 2 is, but like more content. But I'm like the original plan from what I heard and all the leaks, like Charlie Intel, who's on point with everything. I swear to God, the guy works at Activision and just leaks everything, and no one's found out about him yet. The original plan was this game will be $70, $110 for the deluxe edition, and then it's going to be a 2-year cycle game. And then in November, instead of releasing a new game, they're going to bring like a fuckload of content that they're going to back up 16 dump trucks and just dump it on you. And there you go. So you got more content for the next year until the next game comes out.
Well, see, and
they were kind of trying to justify the $70 price tag with it. But then after a couple of months of the game being out, I heard they're going to have a new game in this year in November for 23. And it's going to have this $70 price tag. And I'm like, it's like you put all this time into one game, and I get you integrate Warzone, but it's like, why are you going to make me pay $70 for basically Modern Warfare 2 Pro Edition? That's pretty much what it is. If they do a Modern Warfare 3, like it's going to have a campaign, I heard, and all this other stuff, but it's like, why are you going to make me pay $70 for the same game with a different campaign and the same guns, maybe a little updated, and then you're going to give me bullshit in the Battle Pass?
Yeah, I'm already a stickler about paying $60 for video games. I don't think any game I've seen that's coming out looks $70 worth.
Nothing is. I agree with you 100% on that, Matt.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. Really, the only thing I can, in my mind, the only thing I could justify would be the next Elder Scrolls game, because I'm still playing Skyrim.
Yeah.
That's why, because it's a never-ending game. No matter how many times you start over with a new race or whatever, the game is never the same. It's always different. Where with Zelda, it's always the same. I mean, I will say Breath of the Wild was a little bit different in which you could do a lot more in that game. But once you get the hang of how everything works, it's the same thing. I mean, it's
even with Tears of the Kingdom, like what Bishop said, it looks just like Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if Breath of the Wild was $60, you haven't done anything. Nintendo hasn't done anything outrageous or crazy to justify a $70 price tag.
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, hey, you guys get 80 hours playtime and we've added 20 something new things you can do. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna pay $70. I'll wait for it to come down, or I'll get it at like GameStop.
Yeah, but Nintendo's.
But the horrible thing about
they never drop their prices, and they almost never put stuff like that on sale. How many times did you see Breath of the Wild on sale? Almost never.
That's the worst thing about Nintendo. It's like, you want the game, you want it to come down in price. You might be waiting 10 years for it to come down in price, or you could just go to G2A maybe and get it for like half the price.
Yeah,
Or
I think I told you guys
other websites and just get a key, plug it in. There you go. There's your fucking game.
Right.
Yeah, I told you guys the other day. I was at Target. This is last week, I think, and Super Smash is still $59.99.
Yep, I saw that too.
Yeah.
I looked it up because I told you I wanted to get it for the Switch for the next time we go on Midnights, and I looked it on the store for Nintendo. I can't remember what it's called.
eShop.
eShop, and it's still full price. It
Yeah.
will not drop the price. And then
That's-
not only that, how many DLC characters does Smash have? 20?
Yeah, a ton.
So and that's not cheap. So you're looking at over $100 right there on one game.
Yeah, I mean,
I miss the old days of gaming. It's like, you paid $60 for a game or whatever it was, and then, I mean, I'm not talking about the old days. I'm talking like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. You bought a game for $60, and then you had DLC come out that was like $15-$20, and you had to do that 4 times, and there you go.
You know what I did?
I mean, it was still pricey, but at the same time,
you could just buy
you got a lot of content.
What did they? The Game Pass, I think it was called, or something like
oh,
that.
the season pass.
Season
Yeah,
pass.
season
where
pass.
You get every DLC. It was like $25, and you get any DLC that comes out. That was fucking great. Fine, I'll do that all day.
Quick little hot take. There's a lot of games out there that have season passes, but don't really need a season pass. Like, I remember when I bought the Callisto Protocol, just because I was watching Djibouti Dubs play it. It came with a season pass, and I'm like, why does a horror game have a fucking season pass? Like, I get you're gonna have DLC coming out and stuff, but like,
Well, that's why you don't have to pay for the DLC. You get and you would get a day earlier than everybody else.
But it's like a game like that really doesn't need to have a season pass, because like when I think season pass, I think of something like Call of Duty or
some online.
Yeah, but like this is a horror game that's gonna have like little DLCs here and there, which I don't even know if they're gonna do now because that game kind of tanked.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like kind of ridiculous to have a season pass for a game that's basically just a horror game. That's a copy of Dead Space, but Melee. It's Melee Dead Space.
Okay.
Another hot take.
2 hot takes in a row, man. Bishop's
Good
on
Lord,
fucking
Bishop.
fire.
I mean, I guess it's not really a hot take, because like everybody like said that about the game, but there were some people pissed off, like, "Oh, it's not Dead Space," and I was like, "Have you ever played Dead Space? It's literally a carbon copy with updated graphics, and this is like the tester of what Dead Space Remastered is going to be,
Yeah,
or the Dead Space remake." And
That's
it was.
that's another thing too. Not really a hot take. I guess it's kind of a hot take. Stop doing remastered games. please God, unless it's an older game, please stop doing that. Like, how many Skyrims do we need?
I agree with you. No more remasters. I do prefer some of the remakes though, like Resident Evil 4 and Final Fantasy 7. How about this? Let's go back to the old days where games were on. You got the full fucking game, no DLC. I'll pay $100 for that, and it came in 4 discs. I'll fucking go back to that all day long. That's one of I still have my Final Fantasy 7 and my Final Fantasy 8 full encased, all 4 discs. And
let me pay full price for a game that's completed.
Exactly.
And if there's bugs here and there, whatever, just do a hot fix it. But give me a full game that I'm going to get my full money's worth out of. Not make me pay $60 for a game that's half-assed and it's like 2 hours of gameplay, but then 3 years down the road, here's everything else.
Right.
Like, no, don't do that. Like, I miss the days where I could go to GameStop, buy a game, and that's what I got. I got the game. I didn't get half of the game, and then I got to wait for the DLC. Like, I got a full game, and then DLC would come out that added on to the story, or it was like what Far Cry 5 did. You had the game, the whole game, and then you had the Vietnam thing, the zombie thing. There's a couple other different like DLCs that came out for it, and it was like different from the campaign, like the actual story of the game. It was all its own thing, but it was just DLC stuff that you could play if you wanted. You didn't have to. But don't make me get a game that I have to buy the DLC to finish the game.
Yeah, can we just go back to where like our moms and dads bought the games?
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt, I love that.
I miss that, to be honest. I'm about tired of spending my own money. And I feel like every time, like, I have to justify, now that I'm an adult, I have to justify it, and I don't use currency. Like, the guy rings me up for the game and, like, anything else I get while I'm there. And he's like, all right, $60. And then I'm like, fuck, that's like 4 hours of work.
Yeah.
That's like 4 hours of work that I just threw away for a game. Especially nowadays, a game I'll be done with in a week.
I agree.
And that's if I'm just like taking a break or two. Like, that's my biggest gripe with gaming right now. Like I said, with the $70 price tag, make them longer. Like, you're like, oh, it's story driven and it has an excellent story, but the story's only 4 hours long.
Right.
It's like, what?
Well, that was my gripe with. As much as I love Kingdom Hearts 3, I thought it was great, but that was my biggest gripe was. I beat it in a day. I was genuinely upset with that.
Yeah. Also, I hate doing side missions to further the main missions. Stop that. Like, that's my biggest problem with Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
It's like side missions are supposed to be something you do when
I want.
done. Yeah, when you want, not to progress the main story. Like, you could do the main story and then go back to the side missions just so you have more to do.
Hogwarts Legacy is like, oh, you want the next main mission? Go learn this spell. And then the teacher's like, go do this mundane task that'll take you 20 minutes on a broom.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
That's what, like, low-key made me kind of stop playing it. Like, I loved it, don't get me wrong.
I stopped playing it. I will finish it, though. I made that clear.
But it's like, I just want to play the game. Like, don't make me go to class to learn this because I need it, because I have to go over here. Like, if you wanted me to do that, you should have just made it a main mission to go learn this spell. Then I wouldn't have been like so.
Yeah.
I think I was telling a guy we work with. I do want to take one of those like mental health days, and I think that day that I take, whatever day next week that I take, I'll probably get back on Hogwarts Legacy and just grind through it because I do want to finish it, and I want to finish it before like the spoilers are too big. Like, someone already spoiled it for me, but, like, they just gave me the end, so I don't know what leads up to that.
I've lucked out. I haven't been spoiled at all. I want to stick to that.
I haven't seen anything about Hogwarts Legacy in a while.
I still see stuff pretty much daily.
I mean, all my stuff is just Star Wars right now.
But
I love it.
Since we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy at the moment, I kind of went viral by accident. I think I showed Matt this. There was a thing on TikTok, and there's a new HBO Harry Potter show that's supposed to come out, and it's supposed to more closely follow the books. Well, somebody came up with this cast of who should play certain characters and things like that, and it's got like. So the comment I made was it would be the most expensive cast in history because it has like 4 Oscar winners, it has 7 Avengers, 3 Game of Thrones actors, and fucking Batman himself, Robert Pattinson. And it's just, we need to stop with this because people need to understand that actors, and most of the comments that I've gotten in regards to that are like, oh, they would come back because it's Harry Potter. No, they fucking wouldn't. Especially not Robert Pattinson, because he is notorious for not doing a movie unless they pay him his quote. It doesn't fucking matter what the movie is. If he doesn't get his quote, he ain't doing that fucking movie.
I think he's having a busy year anyways. I don't think he would do it. He
Exactly.
wouldn't do a series. He wouldn't do a series because you've got the Batman 2 eventually coming out in like the next 2 years. He was the guy in Tenet, right? Didn't he play in Tenet?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they want to do a project like with Tenet, which I guess he loved that project.
Mm-hmm.
But like he wouldn't. I just don't feel right now he would be like, oh yeah, I'll do a series. Because then Matt Reeves is gonna call right in the middle of that series and be like, you ready? And he's like, to play Batman again? Absolutely.
Right.
Like, yeah. Which,
especially after the success of that movie. I mean,
yeah.
He could be in the middle of anything.
Didn't it get an Oscar nomination?
Yeah, for not choreography,
Score.
cinematography.
Score.
Score and well, no, I think it was both.
Okay. Which, by the way, he played an excellent Batman. I loved it. I have watched. I think I told you, Bishop. I've watched that movie. I saw it in theaters twice, and once it hit HBO Max, I watched it like. I think I'm on 8 now. I've watched it 8 times.
Yeah, I've watched it a bunch.
I just love Batman, but like going into it, I was like Robert Pattinson. I was that guy too. I was like Robert Pattinson is Batman Twilight.
All I could
see
was
too.
Twinkly Vampires. That's all I could see.
I was too until I seen him in the suit, and I was like, and then they had the first teaser. They had the first teaser where he says, "I'm vengeance." I was like, "Ooh, shit! Yes, you are."
The first set picture I saw was him with Catwoman and the motorcycle, and then somebody zoomed in on the bat symbol and broke it down. It was like, oh, that's made from the gun that killed his parents. I was like, okay, this is gonna be fucking sweet.
Yeah. So all in all, like Robert Pattinson did really, really good as the Batman. But a lot of people were like, he did great as Batman, but he wasn't a good Bruce Wayne. Shut up.
That wasn't the point of the
movie. Shut
movie.
your mouth.
I had so many people tell me that. Like my one friend told me that, and I was like, that wasn't the point of the movie. The point of the movie was he's not Bruce Wayne. He's Batman.
Right.
Yeah. The movie's not called Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, in his mind, there is no Bruce Wayne. Well, there is a Bruce Wayne, but not really there at that time. Like
Bruce Wayne's the alter ego.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne is the alter ego of Batman. Batman is the real side of Bruce Wayne.
Right.
That's the point of the movie. If it was a Bruce Wayne movie, then it would have been called Bruce Wayne does philanthropist stuff.
Which would have been a boring movie.
Very boring.
I always, not hated, but like it was always kind of annoying that they'd have like too much of the Bruce Wayne stuff, and I'm like, all right, it's a fucking Batman movie. Like I would say Batman.
I would say that the Christian Bale version kind of had a nice balance. In my
opinion. It did have a really good balance.
Yeah.
But the one that had like the worst balance, in my opinion, which I always like skipped towards about like an hour and a half in, I think, or maybe like an hour and 15, is Batman Returns, because it's like a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, and it's like it's a Batman movie. He returns, but it's like the first part of it is mostly like the Penguin, Catwoman, and Bruce Wayne, and then Batman comes in at the end.
Truthfully, Batman Returns, you could argue, is a Penguin movie and not even a Batman movie, because
100%.
Penguin is on screen far more than Batman is.
Yeah, I like even when I was younger, I said, "Is this a Penguin movie?" Because like in my mind, it makes sense to me that he's the main character because he's mainly on the screen. Like it shows his origin, Catwoman's origin a little bit, and then it's just mostly Penguin.
Have you ever seen the conspiracy theory that in that movie, Oswald and the Catwoman hooked up and had a baby, and then he like gets fixed, he gets surgery, and then he's actually like Frank Reynolds? So you know how there's a joke that like Charlie like thinks Frank's his dad?
Yeah.
But Charlie, he huffs cat or he eats cat food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so there was a weird theory like, oh, they actually hooked up, and Charlie Kelly is their son that they gave up.
I wouldn't be surprised that would be something they would do, because like they've done like There's like so many like hidden things, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia that you won't notice like unless you pay attention. Like the whole Mac is gay thing. It was like hinted at for the longest time, and then finally like, oh yeah, he's gay. But like you knew, but like you weren't sure.
Yeah.
Like, is he gay? Because like they made it seem like he was, and then oh no, he's not.
No, my favorite scene from Always Sunny, my second favorite scene, sorry, is when they catch the episode where they catch the leprechaun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
All right, he's like, so I was at the men's club down the street. Why? I'm not taking questions right now, D. Shut your mouth. I'm not taking questions. Why is there glitter on you? Oh my god, I'm not taking questions right now. And you're sweaty.
My favorite is when they go back to their high school reunion and they start singing and dancing, and then it cuts to them what they are actually doing and what everybody else is seeing them doing it back. And his fat, or this is when Matt got fat, and he's just standing there screaming. It's my favorite fucking thing. I cry laughing.
My favorite scene. And this is when it was on Netflix. It was the Christmas special.
Yeah,
and it took me by fucking surprise because like at that point I really didn't hear like a lot of like F words and things like that on the show. It was when they're in the hospital with Frank after he crashed the Countach.
Yeah,
and then it's like a somber moment kind of, and then Dennis is like, "Go fuck yourself in your fat fucking ass." I was like, "What the fuck did he just say?" Dude, I was dying. So I was like, I was not expecting him to actually say, "Go fuck yourself in your fat fucking ass."
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, dude.
Or the one time when Frank comes out of the couch.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's what's his name? The Warthog.
Yes, the Warthog.
Yeah.
Remember
Kelly can't read. He'll adjust to
remember
reading.
when there was like the flu going around or something, and they were walking around in the spacesuits, and like Frank was going crazy and like shaving his head and all the hair off his body and putting the Germ-X on him. He was like slithering around at the end.
He's got to be clean.
Dude, fucking Danny DeVito's such a good actor.
I know. Dude.
Like he does like good roles, but then he does like these goofy fucking things, and it's just amazing.
And I know that actors hate when like you take an actor and like always put them as like that, like you tie him to a character.
Yeah.
But even when he does the Jimmy John's commercial or the Jersey Mike's, I'm like, that's Frank Reynolds. Look at Frank Reynolds at Jersey Mike's.
Well,
that's like the dude for Jimmy John's. I say that's Ray Romano's brother.
Yeah.
Well,
they had Danny DeVito on the It's Always Sunny rewatch cast, and he basically said like when he's playing Frank Reynolds, he's essentially playing himself for the most part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's talking about the orgies back in the 70s. Like it's all tits and ass and hands and fingers. Then the AIDS showed up.
Yeah.
I love watching their outtakes.
So Bishop, you wanted to talk a little bit more about Jedi Survivor. So
oh yes.
Tell me about it.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with I looked at the mods. I was trying to find because I seen this dude on TikTok that had multicolored lightsabers. Like he had like this one was purple, this one was orange, or whatever color.
So like the double sided. So like one side was purple, one side was red, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I could not find the mod. I didn't really see any like lightsaber manager mods like it did for Fallen Order. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's some cool like Darth Maul mods, Anakin robe mods, all that stuff. Anyways, I beat the game, and I mean, I really don't care about the performance because it ran pretty fine, except for like some areas where it was like loading like a lot of shit at one time. Which I think was the major problem for PC was like they tried to load too many things in one scene at one time. So whatever, I don't care. Didn't bother me. Didn't have too many major things to like really bitch about. But anyways, for me, 10 out of 10 game. This game encapsulates whatever you want to call it. Everything that is Star Wars, and for a team that went from making one of like a really big groundbreaking game in Titanfall 1, pissing people off with like the campaign that was in that game. They're making Titanfall 2, basically saying, go fuck yourself, here's what we can really do with an actual campaign, but we're not being rushed to put something out on a new system to have it as a release title. Great campaign in Titanfall 2. And then also, in my opinion, making one of the best Battle Royale games there are. They go to making Star Wars and basically give the middle finger to EA, saying, "Hey, we can make a single-player Star Wars game that everyone's gonna love." The first one did amazing. It was an amazing game. Big fucking middle finger to EA, and then they come out with this, another middle finger, and as Ricky from Trailer Park Boys would say, the double whammy that he only pulls out from or for special occasions. This game is it's really, really good. It was really well made. The story was amazing. Every character that came back, all the new characters fit in so well. They shown how they did a really good job of showing how, like Cal and Marin and Grease and Seer and all these other people, how they've grown from the first game, and I'm still playing it constantly. And as I said earlier, I think this could be a Game of the Year game. I mean, I know people are going to sort of say, "Oh, well, on PC it didn't run that great." Well, whatever. That happens.
That stuff, honestly, when it comes to Game of the Year, that kind of stuff doesn't really get brought up.
Yeah,
so it's mostly about the actual game itself. Like, The Witcher 3 had a really bad opening as well. They had to do a whole lot of hot fixes and all that kind of stuff. Still made Game of the Year.
I seen a clip from because I'd never really understood how like the development from different consoles and especially like PC and things like that work. But it was Lex Friedman, and he was talking to the guy that runs Bethesda. I can't think of his name. And he asked him something, and it was
Howard,
and it was along the lines of like, how do you? Or he was like, what's like the biggest difference from like console to PC when you're making a game? And he said the biggest thing is the interface, because you have mouse and keyboard instead of just using sticks and going one by one. You can just scroll around with your mouse. Mm-hmm. But he said the other thing is you got to think about, which it's a major thing with a PC gaming, is you got to think about what kind of hardware people have, what kind of monitors they have, all those different type of like little nitpicky things, I guess. Well, not nitpicky, like those things are pretty big, like your monitor, your GPU, things like that, but like other little nitpicky things in your PC itself. You got to think about that too. And, you know, it just, like, I wasn't mad about the performance because, like I said, it ran pretty good for me. Mm-hmm. But, like, all the other people that I've seen, like, just review bombing the game because they have a 4090, whatever the heck, and it ran like a potato. Well, I mean, you got to think these guys are under a time crunch. They wanted to push it back again just a couple weeks just to smooth everything out, but they couldn't because the head guy said no.
They had already pushed it back as it was.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, if you can get past all that on PC, and, like, everything I've seen about console, it ran fine. But that's another thing. You're putting a game out on a console. All those consoles are the exact same. Right. They all have the same graphics component, all the same hard drives. Well, I guess not really all the same hard drives, but, you know, everything's basically exactly the same. It's all cookie cutter when it comes to console. Mm-hmm. So it's easier. But then, you know, you get the PC, you got, you know, people with the 4090s, 3070s, 3080s, 3090s, 1660s, 1050s, whatever the heck.
You got the 1660s, so.
Yeah, you got to think about all of that when you're making a PC game. So, I mean, if people can get past the fact that, like, yeah, it had a rocky start on PC, it's one of the best Star Wars games I've personally played in a very long time. Like I've played quite a few Star Wars games. I played Dark Forces back in the day. I tried playing Dark Forces 2 recently, but I got to figure out how to mod it so I can have it like upscaled to like modern GPUs and stuff like that. Because it like this is like the only time a game has like made me sick playing it because it just ran so shitty on a newer operating system and all that. I've played a lot of Star Wars things, and this by far is one of the best games.
Have you heard anything else about that Ubisoft Star Wars game that's supposed to be coming out?
No, the only thing I've seen about it, I mean, I did hear like little things here and there, but it was mainly just kind of like what the trailer was about, because like the trailer of the game, it like shows like bounty hunters and troopers and this and that, and the Jedi's fighting on like the bridge at the end, I think it was, and it was basically just like things like, oh, you can do whatever you want. You can, if you want to be someone that has a store, you can do that. You can be a soldier, you can be a bounty hunter, you can be a Jedi, you can be a Sith. You can do whatever you want. So it was basically just kind of telling people what the trailer was about, basically. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard anything like really since, and that trailer came out a couple years ago, a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah.
Since you talked about Star Wars last week, I think I told you today, I've been on such a Star Wars kick lately. Like, I binged The Mandalorian, and now I'm about to binge The Bad Batch.
I'm gonna try and have The Mandalorian done by the end of the weekend. That's when we come back, because then we can maybe talk about it then.
Yeah, a lot of people were shitting on The Mandalorian.
That's what I've seen too,
season 3. I liked it. I mean, I really liked it. I didn't have any issue with it. I mean, and that's just me being a pure Star Wars fan. I didn't really have any gripes about the show at all, or this season, like, at all. The only gripe I had was, Boba Fett getting kind of slighted, because half of the show was just The Mandalorian.
Well, that's how, like, yeah, you mean the Book of Boba Fett. Okay, I thought you were still talking about The Mandalorian. No, that was my biggest problem with the Book of Boba Fett. It's fine. You want to bring him in, but yeah, they did like a 2-episode span where it was just The Mandalorian. It wasn't the Book of Boba Fett anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it, because like they're trying to show more of The Mandalorian without having to roll it into season 3. Mm-hmm. And like, how they hooked up and did whatever and yada yada yada. But it's like, the show is the Book of Boba Fett, so like, why don't you show me more of Boba Fett? Because like everybody was hyped that.
That's always
everyone was hyped that like, oh
yeah.
Shit, we were right, Boba Fett's fucking alive. And then it's like, all right, here we're gonna make a whole entire show, and guess what? Tamora Morrison's gonna be Boba Fett, like you should, because he is Boba Fett. Give me Boba Fett. Like, yeah, I love the Mandalorian, but give me fucking Boba Fett. I don't want
at this
Boba
point,
Fett, and then the Mandalorian.
Boba Fett's essentially become a trope at this point. Looks like a badass, kind of a bitch in real life. That's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
think about it. And even Jango Fett got beheaded the first time we fucking saw him.
I don't know. Like, there's so many things that like build on Boba Fett, and I don't know if all of it's canon. And there is
most of the Legend stuff has been taken out, but Dave Filoni and
it's kind of hard to like keep track of all that.
They're trying to bring a lot of that. Like, Thrawn was a part of Legends. Now he's being brought into canon with the Ahsoka series. Yeah.
Well, he already is now with Mandalorian, I guess.
Yeah.
No
I can't wait for the
spoilers,
Ahsoka
please.
series.
I'm gonna finish.
It's not really a spoiler, because like the Ahsoka series already got announced, and the fact that Thrawn's going to be in it.
Well, I didn't know he was going to be in the Mandalorian, so.
He's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no spoilers. Iron Man dies at the end.
But I don't know, the whole thing with like Boba Fett is like when they announced him like years ago, like so long ago, he was like this mysterious character, and he was like the best bounty hunter ever, right?
That's what they say.
And then all of a sudden he's like barely on screen. You see him for a couple shots, and then next thing you know, he's dead in a Sarlacc pit. Right. It's like, is he really the best bounty hunter ever? He went up against a Jedi one time, and then he gets fucking mopped.
Right. And not just that, like, wasn't there like a malfunction with his jetpack, and that's what caused it? You would think the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy would have checked for something like that.
Well, no, Han Solo hit it when he was blind with that like pole he had or whatever.
Even better, that's what it was. You're right.
Yeah. So he was like blind. He was like, Boba Fett, where? Boom! Hit his jetpack and he went flying off into the.
He did get the Wilhelm scream though, so.
Yeah, that's always good. But I don't know. It's like you bring him back, and then I guess like when he was down there, he must have had some time to think. I guess.
From the looks of it, he was down there for years. Shit.
Yeah, but then it's like he's not the Boba Fett that like we've all known to love. Like, he's not like that cold-hearted guy that like he's kind of made out to be in a way. But he still kind of is in like certain points. Like when he went up against shit.
He didn't fight shit.
I can't remember the guy's name now. The one bounty hunter that was in the Clone Wars that he went up against in the Book of Boba Fett, the blue dude. Not Cobb. I want to say Cobb Vanth, but that's Timothy Oliphant's character.
No, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name either.
I can't think of it either.
I'm gonna think about it later. But yeah, he mopped him real quick. But it's like, I don't know. They did him justice in a way because they brought him back because everybody wanted him back, but it's like, he kind of fucked him over.
The only issue I have with all of The Mandalorian, like even just now finishing season 3, is we're not getting enough. Like, they did a really good job this season with it, and last season a little bit. Like, I just finished season 3. We still don't know who the fuck Grogu is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh yeah, he's someone, and then all of the audience, 100% of the audience is like, oh, but who? And they're just like, we'll never tell.
Yeah.
And it's the show's just gonna end with him putting on the Mandalorian helmet, and they're just like, oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, we get he escaped Order 66 and all that stuff, and he was a Padawan or whatever the hell, but it's like...
Youngling, yeah.
But it seems like he has no memory of that, right?
No memory.
That's the weirdest part about it.
I don't know.
Or he's just too young to, like, speak about it, but, like, they don't, like... I don't know. They just don't...
The first time he used his Force powers, he seemed confused by them.
Maybe he didn't... Or he... Because, I mean, like, that species is, like, little kids until they're, like, 100 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe he just couldn't do it yet, you know?
Yeah. I can't wait for... And I'm sure we'll probably never get it, but I can't wait for Grogu to, like, speak.
Yeah.
He does that like the baby babbling, and I'm just like,
Right.
fuck, that's annoying. That's not even cute at this point.
Right.
I did hear something through the grapevine a little bit, that there might be a Luke Skywalker thing coming out. Which, I saw, like, a behind the scenes of, like, how they did the Luke Skywalker thing in the Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
The dude that was, like, playing Luke Skywalker before they put, like, a CGI'd face over him, he looks like Luke Skywalker. Like,
Yeah, they
like
made
Mark
him...
Hamill. But they made him, like...
They made him
like,
look less like Luke with the CGI.
Yeah,
Really?
but I mean, like, he looks like what Mark Hamill looked like when he was in Episode 4, but then they made him look a little bit older just for the time it was. Like this, like the whole thing took place. But I was like,
So he looks more like Mark Hamill than Sebastian Stan does, is what you're saying. Because Sebastian Stan,
I mean,
when he shaves, looks like Mark Hamill.
yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't know if like the CGI was on, but like I seen the thing like the dots like gonna do like the motion capture for the face.
Yeah.
He looked like a young Mark Hamill. I was like, all right, dude, fucking send it. I would love like more like Luke Skywalker stuff.
I would. Me too. Because I never felt like, especially with the sequel series, but I just never felt like his story was done. Especially when we got the Thrawn series of books. Fuck, how many Luke Skywalker books are there with great fucking stories? Especially the Mara Jade stories.
Yeah, they need to do like a Legends thing. They need to do a Legends thing
I
with
would even
Mara
take
Jade.
an animated series of that at this point. Seriously.
There was a thing that like I always wanted to see like live action where there was a point in time Luke Skywalker went to the dark side. Just to like foil their plans.
Well, there
like,
in the Thrawn series when he meets the Grey Jedi whose name is escaping me at the moment. It's like Seaboth something. It's weird to pronounce, but he actually became a Grey Jedi for a short time and started falling into the dark side and realized his mistakes and corrected them basically.
Yeah, there was like a thing where he went to the dark side just to like fuck shit up, and then he went back. I was like, I would love to see something like that, like just Luke Skywalker losing his shit. Well, like, I mean, like
in the Star Killer the games Force Unleashed. Luke turned when you fought Luke. He actually turned to the dark side in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, like like we all know Luke Skywalker's powerful as shit, and it was really showcased in the hallway scene in the Mandalorian where he just came through and mopped all those Dark Troopers. Like him being on the dark side, I feel like would be
OP.
world ending. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like actual Luke Skywalker, not the Luke Skywalker they had in the sequel series, because like even Mark Hamill himself was like,
that ain't Luke.
You just ruined my character.
Right.
Like this is not what Luke Skywalker is. Like even all the bad things that happen, he's not going to change them.
Right.
But you know, Disney, they want to make money. Oh, Luke Skywalker's all pissed off. He's on a deserted island by himself. Ooh.
Whatever. I mean, they got theirs. We all went to go see it, or we've watched it. It is one thing to think, like, I love what ifs. It's like I even texted you guys, like, we should do a D&D Star Wars session of, like, what if Luke killed Vader and took up the mantle? I feel like that'd be sick. I just want to see it.
Interesting to see, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's OP. He's the guy.
Yeah, he's him. Him.
Yeah, the new ones, they kind of just dumbed him down. Now he was just the angry neighbor, and then some chick showed up, and he's like, "No, get off my land!
Get off my goddamn island!" Just.
Well,
I don't think I can ever forgive Disney for that.
Well, Matt, the last time we did a show, at the end of the show, you said you were taking your nephew to get his first starter deck.
Yeah, we did that.
How'd that go?
Taught him how to play the game. Now he's obsessed.
Which one did you get him doing? Digimon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm obsessed with, so I figured we could both do it. Yeah, he's hooked now. I dropped him off, and he's like, all right, I'll see you next Saturday. And I was like, no, you won't. You'll see me every payday Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I buy cards. Yeah, took my nephew. Got some Digimon. He loves it, which I'm happy about. Something cool. I mean, he was like into Pokemon, but Pokemon's such a oversaturated market right now.
Yeah.
Just with celebrities and stuff are doing that, so I'm just excited he was excited. That's all that matters to me. Plus, it's easy. It's a simple game to learn, and he's 8, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's into it. He's a big old nerd, too. He loves video games, and, well, the ones he's allowed to play. He's a huge, like, Mario fan.
How old is he?
8.
8, okay.
Yeah. But it's good. It's a good time. Took him out to the card shop. We got him his own starter set. We got him some sleeves. He had fun sleeving the cards up. He wanted to play in the tournament, but I didn't realize it's like super rude to coach somebody. So I was like, yeah, we can't play in the tournament because I'd have to coach you, and I guess it's super rude. I was like, I'm not trying to be rude to people.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. I talked to like the guy that owns the shop, and he was like, yeah, it's actually not allowed. And I was like, he's fucking 8. He's like,
Right.
yeah, sorry. And I was like, well, rules are rules, man. I'm not going to break the rules, but I was like, whatever. Instead of playing a tournament, we'll just run a couple games, and he got it fairly quickly, so he's a smart kid.
So what are you currently watching? Are you watching anything new? Or are you watching any anime?
My wife is watching Demon Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching Demon Slayer with her, rewatching. I've already finished the manga and the show. Not the show, I caught up. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes behind on the dub of My Hero. And besides that, dude, I've been watching a shit ton of Reno 911. It's so funny. It's so good. I can't put it down.
I've watched all of Reno 911 many times. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
But,
besides that, just a ton of YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I just got caught up on My Hero. I got that done. And in my opinion, I think this is the best season they've ever had. It's the only other one that's as close to it is the Overhaul season, which is what, 4?
Yeah, something like that.
That's a great season, but this one, it's kind of got everything you want. I mean, it's got all the story we've been looking for. It's got the feels towards the end when you got Dark Deku and he meets the other group of the other Class A students who come in to stop him. there's a whole lot of stuff that's just great. My only gripe, and I guess it's really not even a gripe, it's just the way that they end this season. There's a big sort of reveal, which I've read the manga, so I know what's coming. I just feel like they could have done more with it. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that when they start the next season, they kind of give us the rest of what they were showing.
Yeah, like I said, I'm like 4 episodes behind. But my wife, like I said, she's watching Demon Slayer, so she's been hogging my Funimation. So.
Well, see, Brittany and I just started rewatching Fire Force as well, which I know you didn't finish. You started it, right?
Started. I'm like, if you call it starting, I'm like 6 episodes in.
Okay. Well, it's something that's really impressed me on the second watch of it is it's got some of the best animation I've ever seen. In all honesty, there's no bad animation here, at least that I could tell. But for the most part, it's incredible. Not only that, the sound effects that come along with it. There are certain scenes where they just have these incredible sounds for what they're doing. And I just absolutely love everything about it. And I'm really impressed. I can't believe I didn't notice it the first time. But this time it's really got my attention. And I'm paying a little bit more, probably because Brittany's watching it as well. So we're both paying more attention, talking about it, and things like that. But I wonder, when it comes to anime, how important is animation to you on it? Is it, the main thing? Is it kind of secondary for you?
It's secondary. The big things I look for going into an anime, if I'm going to start a new one, are I love story-driven shows, so it has to have a really good story, something that like entraps me, and then decent animation. If you're watching, don't hate me for saying this. As much as you love, or the world loves Dragon Ball Z, compared to newer anime, it's got the shittiest fight scenes. It's just bad.
Until you get to the Cell arc, that's where they really perfected fight choreography in all anime. Was in the Cell arc in Dragon Ball Z. But no, I agree with you. I think if Dragon Ball Z was to get released today as a new anime, I don't think it would last. I think it would get canceled.
So like if I go to a show and they're martial artists, I expect martial arts the way Naruto did it. He did like the hand-to-hand blocking kicks, blocking punches.
Right.
That's fine. So animation's kind of up there for me, but definitely story. You have to have a really good story because I can't deal with that, and I can't deal with. I'm okay with filler episodes if they're important filler episodes. Like we joke around all the time about there it is. There's the classic beach episode. I can't get into that.
You know who has the best filler, and it's one of your favorites, Fairy Tail. You don't even know it's filler half the time. That's how good it is. Like the season where they had to fight all of Lucy's celestial spirits. That's all filler, but it's great. It really is. There's a lot of that. That's just great.
I'm okay with filler if there's character development. Like throughout, if we get good filler, but at the end of it, the main cast are like better friends for it, I'm okay with that. Blue Exorcist is one of my top animes. We'll put it like top 15. They do an alright job with that. They do like, alright, here's a filler, but the class is like cooler together now. And I like that sometimes. But like I don't need like do you remember the first season of Arrow?
Yeah.
I don't need that kind of filler.
You mean
I don't need the
Yeah.
I don't need the flashback the whole episode. I already know.
I would say in Arrow, in some form, especially in season 1, the flashbacks were needed because you needed to see what he was doing. The one that does the worst flashbacks is Naruto. I mean, how many fucking times do we have to see Obito and Kakashi as kids with Rin? It's the same fucking flashbacks every goddamn time. It's like, dude, we get it. They didn't like each other, and now they became friends towards the end. We get it, all right?
Yeah. Naruto has the worst filler because it's like you get this cool-ass, like last episode, huge fight scene, everything's cool, the fight's kind of ending, and then the next episode they're like, all right, Naruto, here's a mission for you and Sasuke and this. Right. Go catch this dog. And it's like, what the really? Did they not just beat the big bad last episode? And they're just like, Here's an S rank mission.
There's an entire season of Naruto Shippuden that is just the original Naruto. And it's a flashback.
Yeah.
So it's literally the same shit we've seen in the original Naruto as a flashback, and it's a whole fucking season. I remember when that happened, I dropped the show for a while. I didn't watch. I just cut it out. I was done. I was like, no, I'm done with this until they come back to the war. I'm done.
Yeah. There's a lot of, especially with shows like that and shows just as long as Naruto, that I do just cut out at certain episodes. Like, Bleach, when you were telling me to watch Bleach, just give me the important episodes. I'm not watching all this.
Which I tried to do, and you still didn't go and watch it.
Nope. Hot take. I think I said this last time. Bleach, to me, in my opinion, is just updated Yu Yu Hakusho.
Honestly, Yu Yu Hakusho came after Bleach, I'm pretty sure. No, maybe not.
Nope, doesn't matter. Yu Yu Hakusho I saw first, so.
No, I think Yu Yu Hakusho was first.
Yu Yu Hakusho was first.
Yeah.
Anime-wise, yes, it was definitely first.
Well,
but
yeah, release-wise, yeah.
Every time
it was first.
Yeah, every time I watch Bleach, outside of the tournaments, I'm just like, this is just Yu Yu Hakusho, and I've seen this.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
There's no tournaments in Bleach, but there's tournaments in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Right.
So,
Well, there's one tournament in Yu Yu Hakusho. Just the one. The Dark Tournament. It's the greatest tournament in any anime ever. It's the greatest
Love
tournament
it.
arc for sure.
love it. But, I just couldn't get into Bleach. And I understand it's a good show. I mean, I'm not saying I disliked it. It was just it just didn't catch
that's
me.
That's why I tried to make it easier for you, and I just wanted you to watch a recap of what happened in Bleach so you could watch the 1,000-Year Blood War, because it's not the same thing. 1,000-Year Blood War is on a totally different level.
No, I've watched recaps before. Like, I've seen the recap up to where Blood War starts, and I could watch Blood War. I could probably do that today, actually. My wife's working until 7-ish.
Yeah.
But it just didn't, I don't know. I just couldn't give it the attention it deserved.
So good.
Nah,
I love
couldn't do it, man.
It's one of that's why I honestly wish they wouldn't have even done 1,000-Year Blood War yet. I wish they would have just gave it the Hunter x Hunter treatment and just remade the whole show with no filler, no bullshit, and just stick to the manga like they did with Hunter x Hunter. And that and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If they'd have given it that treatment and then finished it off with 1,000-Year Blood War, it would be a totally different. People would talk about it in a much different light.
I think it's one of those shows, too, now that you mention it. I watched all of Full Metal Alchemist. Thought it was good. Got the tattoo right after I finished it. When Brotherhood came out, I'm one person, I do not rewatch shows. Can't do it. I rewatched Brotherhood twice.
Yeah.
Because it's that good to me.
I agree with you.
Like, there's just certain shows that, like I said before, like, the story is what gets me. I could care less about the animation as much. It has to have a really good story. I liked, we mentioned earlier, Blue Exorcist. Really good story, dude. I have brothers. One of them's the devil. One of them's not, but he's a badass. It's like, that's cool. Tokyo Ghoul, little crybaby bitch, gets the organs of a ghoul, becomes a badass. Awesome. I could go on a list of animes that just have really good fairy tale, really good storytelling, but it has to have a good story. When I look at anime and I read the synopsis, like somebody wanted me to watch Reincarnated as a Slime or something.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Nah, I read it, couldn't do it.
You read it?
Read the synopsis. I was like, meh.
Oh, see, I did the same thing though. I thought it sounded stupid as hell, and then I watched it, and it's one of the best isekais ever. It really is.
I don't know. I'm one of those, like, people, the fake anime fans, because every time you bring up isekai, anytime anyone brings that up, they're just like, hey, you should watch this. It's an isekai. And I'm just like, oh, cool. I'm going to watch Sword Art again, but you have a good time
But
with
it's
that.
not even the first isekai, and it's not even the best one. The best isekai is
They're
the first
Nirvana.
one.
They're Nirvana. They weren't the first grunge band, but they're the best, apparently.
Yeah.
And I hate Nirvana. I'm just saying, that's how the world works.
But I would say the best isekai, which is the first one, which was in English it's called Jobless Reincarnation. I can't remember what it's called in Japan, but it's so a lot of people got turned off by it because of I think it's the second episode. So he gets reincarnated as a baby, Like he just has all of his memories, and he's got to basically try to understand this new world he's in. He's not in his head. He's still an adult. He sees his parents having sex, and he's excited. People got turned off by it. They didn't like that. Well, it's like, but to him, they're not really his parents yet. So, so a lot of people dropped it for that reason, and then a lot of people continued and finished it and saw like, oh, this is great. This is a really good show. It's so good you don't even realize it's an isekai. You know it's an isekai because of the first 2 episodes, but as the show progresses, you totally forget that it's an isekai. It's that good.
Let's give it a shot. I won't. Like I said, you said it's good. I'm gonna go watch Sword Art.
Okay.
Dude, Sword Art's so good.
Well, why don't you, since you like Sword Art so much, why don't you watch no, fuck.
Sword Art.
There's Log Horizon, which is Sword Art with a better story. Way better fucking story. And then the guy who made Sword Art made another one. I can't think of the name of it right now. Fuck. I'll think of it later. But those are the 2. If you just give a shot, I think you would really like Log Horizon because I know you, and I think you would really like it.
Try my best. I can say that, and then tomorrow when you're like, "Hey, did you give that a shot?" I'm just like, "No, I watched 3 hours of Reno 911."
Well, I asked you to give 1,000 Year Blood War a shot 3 weeks ago, and you still ain't giving it a shot. So.
Yeah, dude, Reno 911's on Comedy Central.
Yeah. All right, well then we will end our stream here today. We plan on being back online on Sunday. We'll announce the time later. We'll work that out and figure it out, and I'll put it up on Facebook and wherever else I can figure out to put it. This episode is being recorded on Twitch. I will put it up on YouTube. But thank you everybody for joining us, and that will be the end of our SnowDays Nerdcast episode 4, technically episode 6, but yeah, due to technical difficulties, this is episode 4. Thanks everybody for joining us, and have a great night.